to a special VIP edition of Tilted Table. I'm Guilty. Behind the camera today is Jordan. Down at E3 without us is Sam. Boo, Sam!
Yeah, come on.
F's in chat. We are here at a very exciting special event at BackerKit's monthly board game meetup. This is the celebration for the Fickle Kickstarter, already 400% funded, but they are going for more. We're going to tell you about this awesome game. We're going to tell you about our giveaways that we are doing tonight and through the week. We have some special VIP players, including our designer right here, and we're going to play through the game. So without further ado, I'm going to ask all of our exciting guests to introduce themselves. Could I get your name, please, and what you do?
Okay. I'm Glenn Cotter, and I am the designer of Fickle.
Very cool.
Wonderful game here.
Short and sweet. I'm Teresa Duringer, and I'm at Temple Gates Games. We take board games that we love and make digital apps out of them, like Race for the Galaxy, Roll for the Galaxy, and Shards of Infinity, and Essential.
Very cool. And headed to mobile someday. So, my name's Brandon Rosh, and I am with Bard Games. So we are publishing and running the Kickstarter. Thank you to the many backers who've gotten us this far, and we're looking forward to inviting more people to join the Perry Frenzy.
Woohoo!
All right, cool. And I am Joe Swada with BackerKit, and we help our creators and partners raise more during their campaigns and run their Kickstarter campaigns more smoothly. And we also run this Tabletop Night once a month for playtesting. So please come down and check out our meetup group. It's the second Tuesday of every month.
That's super cool. And you guys are here in SF.
Yes.
So this is convenient for us to come. I know some of our viewers are local. Teresa, we got to see some of your games on iPads at KublaCon, and I think we're probably going to be streaming one of them soon. I know, excited. Can you tell us a little more about what's exciting right now for you and what's next?
Sure. So we've mainly been focused on taking some of our favorite tabletop games and bringing them to apps. And one thing that we focus a lot on is trying to pick games that make sense to have really interesting AI. So our company kind of bridges a gap between research and games, where we take research that's already happening in academia and other places and try to find a way to make it sing, and also that helps board game players when they want to play something over and over and have a really competitive AI on it.
That's so exciting. So you're not just always playing against the same algorithm, it's learning from you.
It does learn, yeah.
And getting smarter.
Yes.
And more devious.
Yes.
Amazing!
Will your mobile app take over our gaming at some point? That would be cool.
Well,
Probably.
I mean, there's always a place for hanging out with people and friends you love, but sometimes when people are really far away or you don't have a friend.
You had to literally create a game that was capable of competing at your level. That's what it is. And it only was AI.
Well, yeah. No, that's not true. That's not true.
Yes. Okay, and this game though is super duper exciting to me personally, because look at this. This is the first Amy Brown game ever. If you were born between 1985 and 1998, you probably had this on a Trapper Keeper, or in your locker, or on a t-shirt, or above your bed, or all of the above. This is iconic of my generation, probably the one before mine, and now everyone. Glenn, as the designer, can you tell us a little bit about this game? We're gonna get into the instructions, how to play later, but how did this come about from
From concept.
super high overview? Yeah.
Oh yeah. So I've been working on game designs, and really, I have to hand it to Brandon here, because I've been working on game design. He decided I have an artist that I think might go well with one design that you have, and he played matchmaker. I said, Amy, Glenn, let's see if we get these together and make it work as a great game. And thank you, Brent.
You're welcome. And thank you, Amy.
I'm so happy about this. This is
Yeah.
amazing, beautiful art.
So cool. All right, and Brandon, the Kickstarter runs through next week,
It
correct?
runs till June 18th,
Okay.
and we are announcing tonight that we're doing a 24-hour stretch goal.
Woo!
So it starts today. Starts right now. Okay, all right. Shh, bring the enthusiasm down. Camera. Guys behind the camera, freaking out. So, for those of you that are really excited, for in the next 24 hours, if we get 24 backers or raise $2,400 with add-ons or new backers or however we get there, we are going to upgrade all of the paper tokens with wood, heat transfer, Amy art tokens. So we'll do a whole component upgrade. But we got to do it in 24 hours.
For everyone who backs.
For everyone who backs, yes. This is a gift to everybody.
Okay, and since it is already fully funded, everyone who backs is definitely getting the game.
Everybody's not only definitely getting the game, but we've already unlocked so many stretch goals. We're now at 19 out of 20 fairies. We're holding some back. The Fairy Frenzy backers, we have a cool Fairy Crown upgrade. We've got the e-coloring book for those of you there's talk of a puzzle book, right? That's coming out very shortly as a stretch goal. You don't have to pay anything extra to get it. So we're having a lot of fun, like getting people excited about the game. But we're also, in addition to the 24-hour, 24 backer challenge, I hear giving away some games and other prizes as well.
Yeah,
So-
awesome. So if you follow us on social media, you might have seen that we are doing a Gleam giveaway. Jordan just hit that command in chat. That is the link to join the Gleam. If you've ever done a Gleam before, you'll know there are multiple ways to get entries. Some of them are social. You can win awesome stuff like this expertly embroidered Fickle carrying case bag.
Yep.
You can also win the Bard game. We need to talk.
This is a Smirk and
This is
Dagger
not
special.
Bard. Okay.
Yeah, so this is our
Tell us
local
about
game
that one.
designer. Yeah, so We Need to Talk was born at KublaCon, and many disheartened game designer sat around one night, and this was the result. So Michael, Jordan, Brian, thank you for letting us be a part of the celebration. We actually started selling that. We're scooping Origins. We've been selling these since KublaCon. Great game. The basic premise is that there is something wrong with you, and everybody else at the table knows what it is except you, and you got to figure it out. So we're giving away these as well as part of the Gleam contest.
Awesome.
Fun
All
party
right.
game.
So enter the Gleam, and it will be live all the way through the weekend. So you have extra entries if you get your friends to enter as well. So without further ado, can you teach us this game?
I can do that.
Awesome.
Let's just go over the basics. And the nice thing about it is you can kind of teach while playing. Because the first few rounds are very forgiving. But
All right.
the basics of it are each one of us is trying to create an alliance amongst fairy families here. We're playing with 5 families, and you're going to do so by having them in front of you. And as you play one, each one has a power that allows you to manipulate the alliances.
Very cool.
So each
Jordan,
round-
do we have this on camera, or should I scoot this one a little bit more?
Huh?
We're good. All right.
Okay, so each round we're gonna pass cards left or right, depending on what we have here, and then stack the cards, give them to the neighbor. They're gonna choose a card. Once you've chosen your card, then we'll one at a time put them into our alliances. But anyway, before we get to that, I have a question for everyone here. Who in this group is the most mischievous person?
I'm reporting at her, actually, but
Yeah, okay.
I'm willing to lie.
Yeah, but I want you to start with that. That's fine. Don't worry about it. That's just a tiebreaker token. It'll move around as well.
Oh,
But,
okay.
already winning.
Yeah. Now,
Cheats. Hacks.
now,
Jordan rigged it.
right. You pointed at him. Yeah. Okay, the important thing to understand is as you're building your alliance, the way the scoring works is you want to create a diverse alliance. So ideally you have one of each in front of you of the 5, because if you have more than that, it can count against you. Oh, over there. Okay, so if you have one of each, so like in this case, the share, this is 2 points.
At the end of the game.
At the end of the game. So you don't score mid-game, it's just end of game, whatever the state of your alliance is going to be scoring. So like this one is worth 4 points, that's the favorite points. Yeah, so there you go. Now if you have a second one, you're showing favoritism towards this family. So this family is now worth 0 points. And it gets better because if you have 3, the highest one is going to be now negative points for that family. So the way it works is like, okay, that's worth 4 points. That's worth 0 points. Now this family is worth negative 4 points. That's important. Yeah, that's important because as we're manipulating each other's alliances, we can sabotage each other very easily. Like giving, you already have one? Here, have another. That sort of thing.
So why would we want even more than cards than that, right?
Well,
I mean, we should never get cards.
Well, yes, you want to have a diverse set. Ideally, you have one of each, but there is a long shot. If you actually, in 5 rounds, get 5 of the same family, tough to do, but I've seen it happen a few times. If you get 5, you dismiss everything else and just score the total of that one family. So it's a power play.
You add them together.
You add them all together.
How many cards will we end up with? Or is that variable?
It depends because we're manipulating each other's alliances. Somebody may have 5, somebody may have 9. Because the cards. The reason it's called Fickle is because they tend not to stay put in one alliance. So they change their minds a lot based on their abilities to play. So, and I will just say the one exception you need to know ahead of time is the Noble. The Noble is immune to all those negative scoring rules. They do nothing. You put them into play, they do nothing like nobles do. But they're welcome. It's the safest card you can play. Like that's 3 points. Still worth 3 points. No problem. It's never going to go negative.
Can you shoot the moon with nobles?
Yes, you can. Good luck. Because that is probably the one that gets stolen the most.
Don't
Sorry.
Is there an even distribution among factions?
Yes, so there are 9 cards of each faction. We play with 5 factions, and the values range from 1 to 5. So it goes, there's only 1 5, 2 4s, 2 3s, 2 2s, 2 1s. So when we get towards the end of the game, when people's alliances are kind of built, it's kind of easy to card count just by looking at what's out on the board. So you can kind of make some educated guesses about what that mystery card that you don't know somebody has, or what's underneath. Which I haven't gotten to the way you choose your card yet, but we'll get to that. Let's just start playing, okay? Cool. Okay, so this is still set up here.
All right, while he's setting up, we gotta have teams. Right? Because I want, what team do you want? You should go first, because I'm mischievous apparently, and you're the most.
Red.
Really? You're gonna steal Team Ladybug. All right, then I think go ahead and point flower. All right, what's it gonna be, gang?
Give me those wings.
Oh, there you go. I gotta have the pixie wings. Which are gonna be?
I'll take
the lead. Really? I got the loudmouth fairy team.
Yeah, there you go.
That works. So,
all right.
Butterflies in the mind.
Okay, so we're still doing setup. So right now you're going to look at your cards, and you're just going to put 2 in front of you, and then discard the 3rd one. So I'm going to put. Generally, what you want to do is just take 2 cards that are high value but different families. Oh, but Brandon here he's already going to try and shoot the moon.
All right.
He's kind of planning. So depending.
Wait a second. Power move right out of the gate.
Okay, I think these 2 are going to be butting heads for the entire game. That's a good thing for the rest of us.
Do the powers on the bottom now?
Oh yeah, during setup, powers don't matter. These are just starting points. So just put 2 in front of you, and there we go. Okay, so then the last one gets discarded. So the starting scores, just discard. So the starting scores is 0 because his is canceled out, 0 because his is canceled out. You've got 8, I've got 5, and you've got 6. But again, don't get attached to them. They're going to be moving. All right. So first round, we're going to go. These are randomly left and right. So first round, we're going to be going.
And the court crier has a job, right?
Yes, the court crier. So he's technically supposed to be running the game, or her.
I delegate.
But yeah, this is a demo. Really what happens is whenever any ties happen, it starts from the court crier and then proceeds in the direction of the current round. So,
Can I look at this?
And they also They also resolve rule disputes.
Yes, just in case. And it's really just meant to speed the game along. This is meant to be a light, quick game. Okay, now what's going to happen right now is we are going to secretly look at these 3 cards, stack them however we want.
I'm secretly looking.
Yeah, I'm secretly looking. So you look at these, and we're going to stack them and put them however we want, clockwise. So I'm going to take these, I'm going to put them face down in front of you.
I'm going to put these so that, because mine are going all the way over to my frenemy, and I've got to decide the order in which I want him to see these cards.
Right.
Okay, I think I can do this.
And this is a tricky stacking. So what we're doing is we're setting up a press your luck. So you stack them in front of me. So I'm only going to see the top
I
card.
want the worst card for you on top.
Well, you don't want to tell me that.
Or the
That's
bottom.
the strategy, right?
Or the bottom.
Oh,
Or the bottom.
Where are you picking from?
So what's going to happen now is once these are stacked on top, we're now going to look at them one at a time. Now, I'll just take an example here. We'll just take 3 here. So let's say this was my stack. I would look at the top card and go like, ooh, that one's not very good. Well, I like the power, but it's only 1 point. In order to even look at the next card, I have to discard that, look at the next one, and go, oh, that one's a little better. That's a 3. It's one I don't have, but I'm also going to give away a card.
If you keep it.
If I keep it, that's fine. I'll just get rid of the card. But if I don't keep the second one, I have to take the third card blindly. So it's like, I may go, oh, that one's okay. No, this one, and look at the third one and be like, oh, I don't want that one. You know,
Seems like a little push your luck.
It's a little push your luck. I kind of describe it as it's somewhere between, this whole thing is somewhere between drafting, I split you choose, and press your luck. Kind of like right in the middle of that triangle there is what we're doing here.
Yeah, so when you stack them, what's going to happen is, like sometimes you might want to start with a good one because they'll bait for the better one. Like it's just,
you start looking at your neighbor going, very suspiciously going,
right.
What were you thinking when you stacked these for me? Are you trying to trick me or are you...
Fool. I'm going to fool Teresa on what Brandon's thinking. Mind blank.
Okay.
All right.
And honestly, the first round or 2 is very forgiving. Go ahead and just do whatever. Yeah. And they're going to move around anyway. If I'm clearly winning, which may happen, people will mess with me.
Something's really exciting over there. So you're probably going to do it right.
Yeah. Okay. So I'll just go like.
These are for you.
Okay. So then we all simultaneously look at the top card, and we go like, I don't know, maybe. And I was like, that's good. Yeah.
I don't like mine, so I'm going to go ahead and discard.
Okay.
So that I can see the next card.
I'm
We're going to wait for each other on this.
I'm taking mine.
Okay, so you just keep it in your hand. Don't show anyone.
this
Then you discard it. We can't
no
look
way
at
you
the
go
other ones,
wrong,
just discard
buddy.
them without looking.
Okay.
And like now,
So it means you don't get to look at the other 2
that one I
cards.
don't want. So I'm just going to blindly take the third one and just see like.
I'm going to look at my second card. I like it. Yeah. But just in case.
Okay. All right. Are you keeping your top
I'm
card?
keeping my first card.
Okay.
Oh,
so
really?
You can't even look at those
Ooh,
cards.
I got an upgrade. Look at that.
All right.
I got an upgrade. All right.
Okay. So now.
So everybody now has reduced to 1 card.
So everyone has their. This is their. Your of those 3 cards that are passed to you. You chose your 1 card. This is the winning card, right? Then the court crier is going to count down from 5. So
I count down from 5. Does anybody have a 5?
Nope.
Does anybody have a 4?
I've got 4.
I do
Ooh,
too.
So
3 4s.
3 4s. So what
I
happens?
shall court cry.
So what happens is starting from him and going current round. You go first.
So I've got the chorus, which means I can take a fairy from an opponent's alliance and put it into my alliance.
Yes.
So do I want another purple? I don't think I do.
You're not going to shoot the moon?
No, it's too early for that.
Too
I
early
think.
for that.
But I will take this.
Ouch!
There you go. Okay.
Big points. Yeah, that's what happens when you have a neighbor over there.
Okay. Then you
Now
get
it's
the next.
me. All right. I have Dispel. Take a fairy from any alliance and put it into the dismiss pile. Ooh. Okay. On anyone's board.
And you can do that in your own tableau as well, right?
Yeah. Any fairy on the board, just say you're gone.
Alright.
Goodbye. It was nice seeing you.
Feels like
Yeah. There you go. Yeah, you're fine.
This little payback.
Yeah.
Bye bye. Oh, he's married to
Or
her.
is
No, I
it
want this
better to get rid of the 1 blue?
Oh, that one.
No,
Yeah.
I want this one.
Yeah, you take
No.
it, you lose it. Okay, now me.
that was quick.
I've got to give, so I'm going to take a fairy from my alliance and give it to somebody else. And normally this is great because I could just take this. If somebody else had to give, I could cancel out their points. But no one else has one, so I'm just going to give somebody some points.
Give us some points, buddy.
All right.
I just lost the fairies.
Yeah.
Well,
I have
here,
0
you can
points.
have one. That's nice. But I did upgrade from a 4 to a 3 to a 4. So that was kind of nice. Okay,
You're a
I'm
giver.
good with that.
You're a giver.
Yeah, I'm a giver.
So the powers from each faction are the same.
Yes. So the only thing that is different within the faction is the favorite points.
Points. Okay.
So the only 5 abilities you need to remember.
All right. The court crier continues. Are there any other 4s? Was it for 4s, right? How about 3s?
We got a 3.
I have a 3. So the court crier goes.
Yes.
The noble court crier arrives and says, "Free points." And
Alright.
last but certainly not least,
I'm so glad you went first because I have a course.
Oh,
And I didn't see anything on the table that I wanted, but that noble sure looks sweet and tasty.
Well, there
easy
you go.
come, easy go.
There you go.
All right, fair enough.
All right.
And because she was all last,
And so she
She's-
already
yeah.
has 5 cards.
got
I don't know if this is a good thing.
So-
Here, hold them all up so everybody can see. Look, show off. Look,
So-
she got all the points.
So
One
this
each.
this
Did you
is
win? Is it over?
yeah. Well, that's the thing. This is where the game kind of gets tricky because she has done an amazing move of making a nice balanced alliance on the first turn.
Yeah.
But you know what? We have 4 more turns we have to play.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to be adding some more cards to that.
Tag.
And that's
You're
going to
it.
start
We
things.
can't just stop now.
Nope, well, if you can stop right now, you would totally win.
No.
But we're going to play a few more rounds, and yeah. Not
We'll see.
brilliant, but okay. But you're the court crier. So what we're going to do is next round, we flip over the token, and we're going the same direction.
All right. That makes
So-
it easy for the players to follow along.
Yes.
So, and the players follow along.
All right.
So, I would say that was a very good first move.
Okay, so now we all secretly look at these, and then stack them and pass to... Oh, wait, I shouldn't write that.
Oh man, I'm feeding this guy points over there. Good. So what I gotta do is present him in a way that he doesn't know what I know that he knows. Easily said. Let's go ahead. Let's do this. I don't like that one. I cast across the table.
Those two.
Okay. So while we're all waiting for people to make decisions, apparently we may make decisions. Everyone had a point.
Oh
there.
no,
Yeah, you can rethink. Yeah, I was actually watching over there.
Yeah.
So, I was going to point out that there's other fairies as well, right?
Oh, yes.
We're playing with the base game.
Right. So we're playing every game. You're going to play with 5 families, but if you're familiar with like Dominion, where you have a large set of cards, but you only play with a small set each game, this is the same thing. This is called a shuffle builder. You pick any 5, shuffle them together, start playing, and depending on which 5 you put together, the style of the game is going to vary greatly. So we're doing like the starting 5, but we have what, 20 now?
We
Unlocked
have
20?
19 fairies unlocked with over 11,000 permutations.
Yes.
So, and I've played all of them. That's the kind of game tester I am.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Or you can just take that from he's a good player.
Mhm.
Okay.
Okay, so we look top card, and let's say
I'm gonna keep her, and I'm gonna discard the other 2. I might have
you
some
don't even get to look.
Keep putting a good card right on top.
I liked it. I like
Joe is
those.
trying to trick me, so I'm not going to take that one.
Yeah.
So does that mean that you sometimes have really aggressive
Yes.
games versus
Yes.
very passive? What are
Yeah,
the
so-
different directions?
So this one, this first game I kind of described as a mid-level chaos. It's a high interaction game, a lot of moving around.
I'm gonna push it.
Other games are like if you do play.
Show the camera. Excitement. So excited. Look at the smiles.
Debated.
So to answer your question, if you played with family abilities that are just scoring, there's not going to be as much player interaction, but different ways to score. So it really comes into the stacking. There are some family abilities that do like destruction, like mass destruction. There are others that have countermeasures, like if you're things like if you're familiar with magic, like instants that you can play out of sequence that are defensive. Again, like the game has so many variations. There's the rulebook will have a whole bunch of recommended sets.
Yeah, I think we have 8 right out of the gate that we recommend, and then we start introducing if you want a tableau points driven with low interaction, well, then we recommend a set.
Yeah.
If you want a high take that zap direct attack kind, then we have different fairies.
Right.
And then meanwhile I have watched a lot of just random draw.
Yeah.
And it's so much fun, right? And they all work together. That's the amazing thing.
Yeah, it's nice.
All right.
Okay.
Crier.
So court crier, you get to call it out. So start with the 5.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
5s. We have 5s. No. Any 4s?
I'm 4.
All right.
Okay.
Oh, but I'm first. Are we ready? I shall coerce thee!
Yeah.
I speak Fae. I didn't know. Yeah. That's right. So coerce, that means I now get to not only take and add 4 points to my hand, I'm going to be stealing a card from my good friend Joe over there, because I would love to get that 5 share.
Oh, he's going for it.
Yes, fight amongst yourselves.
Yeah, because of that. Now, technically, what is my score right now? Game designer?
Oh,
-5?
-5. I was going to let them answer. But...
-5.
Negative
Too hard to
5.
fan. There's no way this plan's going to backfire.
Yeah.
All right, and other 5? Or were we on
Other
4?
fours?
Other 4s?
So I have one. I have give.
Oh, you have a share over there.
I do.
I don't think
So
I can give him to
I can give you. Yeah, it would go nice with that
They
set.
are lonely.
But I think this is actually going to go to you.
Oh!
Cancel out
So you
the
went from 2 points to 0 points.
Okay.
All right. All right, so any 3s?
Nope.
2s?
I've got a 2. All right. So I just have the noble, do nothing noble, but nice.
Very vanilla.
Yes.
Any other 2s? 1s? I've got a 1.
I got a 1.
Oh,
You go first, right?
I've also got a noble.
Okay.
Look at all those
Well,
nobles.
normally that would be if it was any other family, that would be negative, or that would be 0 points. But because it's noble, it's still 3 points. They're safe.
Always a safe bet.
Safe bet.
Okay.
All right.
And I have a give. Take a fairy from your alliance and put it into an opponent's alliance. Glenn, I have a gift for you.
Yeah. So you canceled out my 4 points. There you go. Good job. All right. So now, and since you were the last one to play, you are now the court crier. So go ahead and flip over the token there.
This one here?
The next
So we're on round 3.
Round
this
3.
game's over in 5 turns, so it's a quick
Same
play.
direction again.
Oh shoot, I gotta collect some cards.
Yeah. Well, you got 3 rounds to do it. It's just the 3rd round. So you kind of, in the opposite position that she's at. She collected a lot early.
Yeah.
We just need some synergy, like some.
Let's
some
trade
give.
some. Let's trade some.
Yeah.
Well, and what's interesting is at first we're playing for points, but now we're playing for powers.
Yes.
Right? Now the powers matter because they're going to help you.
Now you look at the cards and you're like, well, that's okay on points, but the power will help me correct my balance here.
Right. And the other thing that's happening is, we're looking across now, and I may not be in a good position. We know who the leaders are. We know who's lagging.
Right.
So it makes it a lot. I mean, if you like card counting and min-maxing and king-making,
And sometimes
these things happen.
you can also table talk is encouraged. So you may totally go, they're winning. I'm putting the card you want on top. It could be a total lie. It could be a total lie. It doesn't matter. But you can play the table as well as the cards. So, so yeah, I think, okay, I'll do that. That for you?
This is for
I'm
you.
a little too happy about this.
Right. This one's mine. Right?
Okay. All right. So we're all good. Let's take a look at the top card.
I agree. Definitely king making Brandon. As chatbots go, sir, you're the greatest. So, whoa, big money, no whammies.
Are you baiting me again?
Why would you give me such an awesome card on the gate?
Yeah.
Is Noble one of the 5 factions?
It is, but it is the safest one to play because it never goes negative.
Pressing my luck.
I'm gonna
See the
keep
second
it.
one.
You're gonna keep it?
Come on, share.
You don't even know what the others are.
Don't. But last time,
You got
Joe
you.
totally
Alright.
baited me. Yeah. He
Yeah,
got
But I
me
definitely
done
don't want this because I'm
Yeah.
just giving up points.
Good choice.
Alright, last but not least, this is it.
You're just like, you know what? Good enough.
It's good.
It's good. All right. Now that I know that, I know
Alright.
how to stack.
Yeah.
Let's
Yeah.
wait.
Yeah.
Probably
Okay, so we
easier
have
than
a
passing you
rigged
next time.
command. I think we
also-
might have to
I don't think I
update
heard
it
that.
from
It's like the
Jordan
Princess Bride.
to Brandon.
So we're alright.
Okay, Crier, let us.
Yeah. So
Alright.
start with the
Oh,
five.
is it me?
Oh,
I
no,
thought it was me.
Did you
It
see?
was me. It was me.
He's planning on
She's
winning.
the one who played last.
Aha, got it.
Whoever's last gets the tiebreaker. No.
But he is.
play one.
We have a 5. We have a 5. Show me a 5. Anyone with a 5? 5? Do I hear 5? Can I get a 4? 4. Tell me 4.
Four?
Yep.
I have
4.
four.
4
Yeah.
for the
Just
man in
me?
the purple shirt.
All right.
No.
Big
Alright.
points.
Oh yeah.
Okay, and that's all it does. Any more 4s?
No ma'am.
Can I get a 3? 3. Show me 3.
I got a 3.
We got a 3. It's going this way for me, so you're first.
So I'm going to dispel.
Ooh.
Ah,
So I'll dispel a dispel.
okay. There you go. Gone.
There you go.
Self-correct.
Farming your deck.
Nice. Alright, Brandon.
And despite her mental shenanigans, I successfully discovered the fourth share card.
But
And for more good news, are you ready? Share says all players take the fairy of lowest favor value in their alliance and pass it in the direction of the current round. Your lowest
That way.
is a share.
Mine are all the same. Do I get to pick?
you get to pick one.
Or you could do a no
So
go.
whatever
That
is your
would
lowest,
not
you
be
pass
cool.
it to your neighbor.
Yeah, you get to choose.
You get to choose if it's tied. So pick your
All right.
lowest.
So this 3 is my lowest. It goes to the left. Now it's supposed to happen all at the same
So
time.
everyone says there's a
So
side.
everybody should grab a card.
Okay, I have to decide if I'm going to take it for the team
Oh,
or
show-
not give him the purple.
Oh, show him.
So here's the choice.
Yes.
Do I give him the purple
That he wants.
that he wants because I can get this one and just keep it and be happy,
Mhm.
or do I give him the one
Mm-hmm.
and he's probably just going to get a purple anyways?
Mm-hmm.
But I cannot be a part of this.
Yeah. There you go.
Good choice.
Good.
Good choice.
And not good. Fantastic.
That's right. Hey, the man's night.
Ah, thank you.
I had to pass mine.
Oh yeah. Yours goes over there.
I was gonna throw it like all
Nah.
X-Men style, but I didn't want to break the building.
Yeah. Well, he's not winning yet. He's setting himself up.
Well, I mean, technically I have 4 and 1 for 5 points and -5, so I'm still at 0.
Yes.
Glenn is also like low-key one faction away from me.
Yeah, you like that? Go Team
Well,
Flower.
well, pretty much like I'm scoring all of my.
Uh-huh.
This is bad. Okay, you know, all I'm saying is I designed the game. You should be messing with me more. You know.
We really should be messing
Yeah,
with
exactly. You know, don't.
I tried last
You
time.
tried,
Yep,
yeah.
I tried. Alright. Okay, 2s? Any 2s? Oh, I have a 2.
There you go.
Yeah.
Novo.
Go Team
No, there
Wings!
you go.
Come on, Team Butterfly!
Okay.
What's going on out there?
And
So,
1s.
I've got one. My
Right.
last one here.
We're gonna win in spite of your support.
So I've got a dispel, so I can get rid of one thing on the table.
Okay.
I think I might get rid of. Well, let's see. I could totally
Ooh,
foil
do the
his.
5.
No.
I have 0 points, my good friend.
Yeah, but you're fun to mess with too.
There's different kinds of winning.
Yeah, you know. But you have like a nice balanced thing there. I mean, you're.
So he's got one
he's
of
got
3
11.
families for a total of 8, 9, 10, 11 points.
He's got 11 points, 10 points.
I have
You're
you would say
you're
fairness.
you're
Joe's winning.
okay, but you
Pretty
have 2 more rounds.
gangsta over here.
Yeah,
So-
exactly. You got the crew here that's 10 points, so it's still doing well. So yeah, I think it. Or I could just do myself
For points.
for points.
Oh, how
but you know
selfish.
what? I think I'm just gonna go ahead and I'm gonna burn your 4 noble.
Goodbye.
I'm gonna take the hit here to take you down for. Joe, you always win. So I gotta.
I was wondering what he was going to choose.
Okay.
Yeah, it's getting harder and harder. So.
All right. Okay, so I'm now the court crier.
Okay.
So we are in round 4.
Yeah. So you want to flip over to that token?
Oh, play
Okay.
changes.
Okay, so now we're going the other way. So these are randomly left.
Payback.
I'm not very good at keeping you from your purple.
Payback.
So maybe Joe will do a better job. All right. There we go.
you know, I think the most exciting part is the dealing. Like,
And then okay, so I want to say this is a move that somebody pulled on me like a year into playtesting. I thought it was brilliant. They went and looked at their cards like, hey, that's a good card. There you go. And it's like, whoa, that was brilliant. I hadn't thought of that. That's awesome. Of course, they may all be bad cards too. So.
Yeah, I guess if they're all the same fairy family,
Right.
you can just mess with the
That
person,
one's
pretend like you're
terrible.
sorting it out. But
That one's terrible. That one's extra.
But the art's beautiful.
They're all good. The thing is, they're all good,
Yep.
except when they're
Wait,
not.
what does that say? Do I have a Harlequin fairy? It only scores if you can. I can't make out the rest.
Let's make someone laugh.
Oh, well,
Yeah.
that seems. I thought it comes with a mallet.
That he would just win. Yeah, that counts.
I
So,
don't have a Harlequin.
So I can't, we can't say anything, but there is one particular backer that has been very vocal.
Where are you, Erdino?
Yeah, where Dino? And apparently a big werewolf player.
Werewolf. You're a werewolf.
Yeah,
Wrong game.
werewolf.
Fairwolf.
Yeah,
I agree.
yeah. And so.
Werewolves, not swearwolves.
Love it.
Ooh, okay. So now it's reversed, and Joe is going to outwit me.
So you're doing for Joe.
Yep.
Oh.
Where
What are these?
Yes.
Those are
those are
I stacked
mine.
for you. So you're stacking for Joe.
Dang it. Dang it.
So can we get the jumbo cards with the Kickstarter level? That's
I've been asked about the jumbo cards more than once, and we haven't committed to it, but we're not ruling it out. I mean, clearly we've kind of got a solution for that. You know, we only did the basic setup, so think about now jumbo size, 20. Like, you know, we'd have to like sell you, a cart with
Yeah,
which
exactly.
to roll them.
Yeah,
but-
big suitcase to
You know,
carry the whole set.
And do the jumbo cards fit in the tote? Yes, if you fold and tear them and shove them in. I'll show you how it's done. So,
Oh,
what you do is you take the card that I'm gonna go first. Are you ready?
This
Because if I don't like
is
this card, I'm gonna
TOS.
make it fit.
This
Here we
is
go.
TOS.
Oh,
Violence against board games.
do you like this spell? How about the spell? Hey, it does fit. You like that? And
I'm so
by the
relieved.
way,
So,
like that card.
so
Okay.
what are the drinking rules for this game? We have somebody who's an expert in that, but they're not here right now.
Oh yeah. So if you go to Drunk on Games, they actually did a live stream of the drinking rules for this game.
Oh, that's
Yes.
amazing.
The basic drinking rule is if you score a point, drink, and at the end of the game, for every 0 or lower family, you drink. And surprisingly, there was a lot of drinking. So.
Yeah, good cut. That's the whole purpose.
All right.
Okay.
Okay,
You
so
ready?
top card.
I don't go. Yeah, I'm gonna pass.
now.
All right. Let's see what's next. Hard pass. What is that show? Letterkenny? Have you seen that TV show? Oh, it's horrid. It's rated on Hulu. Hard pass. Oh, this is even worse.
That's it. Yeah, that's the name.
Okay, it's getting worse.
Oh, you're getting
It's getting
worse.
worse.
Oh.
Stop it. Stop it. This is the one.
Keeping this
Joe's
I know
thinking.
this is the
Joe's
one.
thinking.
I know
All
this is
right.
it.
What was this last card?
One
We'll never know.
card.
Never know.
You never know. All right.
I am not responsible for that.
Yeah. I shall not be denied.
Okay.
Okay.
The share fairy army shall conquer
All right.
fairy land.
Okay. So, anyone have 5s? Oh,
I do.
I do.
Oh.
2 5.
I got a 5, but I'm the court prior, so it starts with me. So I'm gonna give, and I get to give a card away. So I'm gonna give it. So I could be really mean, put it here. That would give you -4 points, or I could just cancel out your 4 points.
Why would you do that? She's winning.
No.
She got a lot of them down points.
Why are you letting her win, Glenn?
Well, you know what? Good play in the table. Yeah, I think a share, because I think a share is going to happen. I think she'll be able to get rid of one of them. So
Okay, great.
yeah,
Hey!
yeah.
Planning ahead.
Alright.
Okay.
My turn. I have a course.
Ooh. So
Take a fairy from an opponent's alliance and put
I
it
should have
into
done it to you.
yours. Yeah, you should have.
yep.
Drunk on Games is a Twitch channel. So
Okay.
from that, the interwebs knows all. You must ask the interwebs.
There we go. So I have
You're
everything
welcome.
but a share.
I see some great high point shares right over there.
And didn't you get one?
Look, I'm interacting with the audience here.
Yeah, give me that 5.
Oh! Ouch!
There you go.
That's a big hit.
All yours. Oops.
Oh, now
it's
Okay,
not full right there.
Can this be my last round?
No, we got one more round. So right now
That's how I
you are
felt.
totally winning the game.
Someone
We got
destroys
one more
my
round.
plan.
I'm not winning. I have no idea what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Who's left?
Okay, so those were the 5s.
Those were the 5.
You would have a 4.
I have a 4.
You have a 4?
You.
Go for it.
Ew.
Ah,
Look
nice.
at that big
Oh,
movement. That's
okay.
just 3 points.
Very nice.
3, 2, 1.
1.
1. Starts with you.
Starts with me. Well, I have a 1 dispel.
Ooh.
And I was dead set on dispelling Brandon's 5 fairy. But it's over here now.
Well,
Easy come, easy
we're
get.
going anyway. There we
Put
go.
it back, man. Come on.
Cheats. Hacks.
You need a graveyard fairy.
I do. Oh, yeah. So,
Grim Reaper.
transform, right?
No. Oh, no.
Pulls from the discard deck.
No. So that's the bonus card. The one we're giving away at cons.
Oh, wait a minute. It's almost as if we knew there'd be a moment to point out.
Yeah.
The fetch fairy. So this is
Oh my gosh, this is a puppy?
yeah, there
Oh
you
my
go.
God.
It's Kitty. It's Fairy Kitty.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say someone told
Fake hat.
Pug
And
time.
it's two-sided, so you always know it's coming in your game.
Oh,
And
that's
it allows you to
funny.
pull from the discard.
Oh my gosh, I love it.
Yes.
No.
All right, last but not least, because I had 4 of them, but now I have only 3 of them. We are sharing.
Take
Share
their- so
says
take their
the
lowest
card
card
lowest
aside.
value, and
Pull
it is going to
Just
the
pull their
right.
lowest card, and we're passing that way.
Are you
Seems
kidding
only
me?
fair.
So you get to pick either that
Wait,
one
which
or
way is it
that
going?
one.
To me.
To you. Okay.
So this one is negative 10 for you right now.
Oh yeah, it's just
So
0.
that will cancel out my 5.
I was doing
And they
so
destroyed
well.
the share dream.
Yeah. So it simultaneously got you back 4 points.
Well, here you go.
Guys, the great Fildini was just
There's some negative points for you.
Yeah.
almost taken out by a baby.
Yeah, exactly.
Coming down the river.
Okay.
Man, I got so many
And
ones.
you're the last one. So
All right, and the last round.
is the same direction.
Now I have to admit that the shoot the moon share dream is dead.
Yes.
Thank you, team.
It's not gonna happen.
So now.
I think we can do a high 5 collective high 5.
Yeah. Stop his dreams. All right.
That's not
Okay,
very fair.
now,
Well, I'm gonna win in spite of your gameplay.
Uh-huh.
now we just have to
Okay, so
stop Glenn.
After this round is when we score.
Okay.
Game ends. So there's you get to play one more card to fix everything.
That's it. Easily done.
Yeah.
And which way are we going? Left or right?
Going to the right.
We're all right. This is it.
All right.
This is where I
So,
with you for the one and final time. I
let's
should
see.
probably have the cards.
I don't think I'm your competition.
Yeah. Let's see.
So what we really need to do is go off camera, grab some cards when I'm looking.
Yes.
I'm thinking that's a good one.
Oh, why have you decided to make that two-sided? So it's a bonus card. It's not one of the fairies that you put into a deck. You're not gonna have 9 of them. You're just gonna throw one in, and it's also just wackiness because when people stack it, you can't hide it. It can't hide in the deck. You see where it's coming. You see if somebody chose it, and you can also play into that. Like, oh, I guess you chose that card. Let's see if we get something really bad on top of the discard pile
Right.
when you have to resolve it.
Throw that kitty out, and it's great because then people are like, well, I know what that is, but do you pass and see what's below it?
Right, and then yeah.
So wait, if Brandon the king, if I want to be the king, I want to be the king maker.
Okay.
All
Be the
right. So
king
can
maker.
everybody loan me one card for the end of the game? Then I can. That's king making.
Yes.
We're gonna go with my best move. This. Here we go.
All right. So just summary. So we're going into the final round. So the scores are Joe. What do you got?
9.
9.
9.
9. I've only got 7. No worries, right?
6, 9, 0, 12. Am I at 12? Can you?
8,
check me?
0, 9, 10, 11, -2.
So you're
9. 4, 5, 6, and a mighty 0 for the share only. So,
Alright.
six.
Okay, so
Okay, so-
3 of us are tied
Four.
at 9.
I thought you add each of them.
No. It's the higher the
They
highest.
don't
number.
cancel
It's
out.
just not like
Yeah.
a negative.
Yeah.
So for noble, you get the best of the card unless you get 5 of them. Then you get to add.
Thanks for that
Okay,
comment.
No
so
worries.
right now
I
we're looking at the table.
misunderstood the rules.
No one is
Okay.
going to shoot the moon. Not going to happen.
No.
So we're just looking.
I mean, I got 2 blue cards. Might as well.
Yeah, you got to get 3 more. One turn. Okay, so top card. Let's look at top card.
Oh, this means
This is it. Okay. That would be fun.
That'd be points.
This feels like trick size, but I can't take that.
Oh. This is where like I look at you like, what would you put that? Where would that third
It
card?
was tricksiness.
Someone help me!
No.
I agree. Math is hard. I don't have the maths.
This is not
I'm
gonna
thinking
help
this
you
is my
much.
best play because I think
I
whatever's after
I
this.
don't know what it is, but I have to
Glenn,
go.
what are
I have to
you
go.
playing?
It's like I'm juggling a landmine.
Yes, thank you very
Did
much.
that help you?
Oh yes.
Well, don't be all gloomy.
This is
Okay.
maybe
Guys,
the
this
best
is-
of.
yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm
Okay.
gonna
I'll just say
keep
like.
it. I'm keeping this. So.
Okay.
This card.
So I'll just say like
So what's going on? You're still on card
you guys
number
are gonna have to
1.
mess with me because
It's
I'm
like
totally
there's
gonna take this.
serious outwitting going on.
Totally gonna take this.
What did
I
you
don't
end
think
up?
anything is going to be good for me at this point.
All right, card number 2. Show our TV viewing audience, or Twitch TV viewing audience. Show what you got.
Okay, so I got a give on this time, which is I can take a fairy from any alliance and put it in opponents. So I can,
We'll take one of yours.
screw someone over a little bit, or help myself out, or maybe do both. It works out. So I'll take that. That's fine.
Okay. Well, but the problem is you're gonna put a third one in there,
Yeah.
and
Depends on what she gives.
yeah, that's true. You can give one away. Basically, you can make it. So,
Or you could go for card number 3.
Or what's the third
I
card?
think having a little control seems better than just.
Then random.
Chris, is this the first time
It's
that
not
you
random. I put them in
haven't
proper
taken
order.
the first card?
Yeah, actually.
Alright, who's the crier this time?
Brandon.
Played last.
I
Brandon. Alright.
started the court crier, and I shall end the court crier, and I dub the TV listening audience. Do you have a 5? Anybody have a 5?
No five.
Nope. How about the big 4? I have a 4.
Alright.
I will add a 4 noble for mighty awesome points.
Yeah.
Okay.
3s.
I have a 3.
Yeah.
Then we shall reveal another noble. Everybody's going for these easy points.
Yeah.
All right. So we have 3 cards to go, right?
Yeah.
2s.
I have a
We
2.
have a 2. We have another 2. So it's going to start with you, Teresa.
Okay. Alright, so I'll play this, take a fairy from your alliance and put it into an opponent's alliance. And who is winning right now?
Well, I have 9 points and a 0.
I have 9 as well.
And I stated you really should mess with me more because
Everybody likes it when the designer wins. That's
Yeah,
why
exactly.
we watch these shows.
Yeah.
So
Oh wait, but you're
These designers make
oh,
games
oh,
points over
a
here.
good
that really focus
there.
on them winning all the
Just,
time.
Let's see.
At the
Yeah.
expense of all the
Let's see.
players.
9, 12.
Mhm.
So if you have the 3, that's a negative.
So yeah, if you give it to me, I'll have -5.
Live remote studio audience. I totally agree. That is what they should
Right.
do. So,
Okay.
You know, okay.
I'll do this one just to be safe on it.
look
There
at
you
you
go.
giving away. You know, now I'll take those.
to me?
Give it to me. I don't have one of those.
Right next to
All right. So you did. That was bold. You kept yours at 0, and now this family is now worth -5 points for me.
Amazing.
Clearly, I'm not winning at this point.
Well, there's still 2 more cards to go.
Two more.
And anything.
Okay, Joe. You and me. Yep. Okay. I've got a 1.
No, I have a 2.
Yeah,
Oh,
the other
yeah.
2.
Oh, okay.
This will change things up a little bit.
Oh,
2 shares.
No! No!
Yep.
Okay.
All right.
Well, that's my lowest card, and it's going to the
All
right.
right, speeding points, baby. Oh,
That's
no!
my lowest card. Enjoy another share.
You just threw me negative.
I think that's across the board. It
Ooh,
works
here
out
you go.
fantastic.
There's a -4 for you.
Okay. All right. So
Ouch.
so now I've got the
Angry
last
tables,
card,
I'm sorry.
and this is actually a wonderful last card
Oh,
because it's the coerce 1. Not much points on its own, but I get to take whatever I want from the table, and I don't want any more of
It has
these.
to be.
I don't want any more of these. Really, the only thing I want to take is a noble. So
They've got the high ones.
yeah,
They've got high nobles.
but you know,
That guy over there, he has a high noble.
I'm just gonna go. Yeah, it's fun to steal from you.
Sheesh.
I'll take it.
I suppose.
Thank you.
There goes
All
my
right, there we
photo.
go. And that's it. That's then we do our scores.
All right.
All right, let's go. Let's go with scores. I'm ready.
What do you got?
Team Butterfly Talker. Apparently, Butterfly Whisperer. We have 1 + 4 plus, thank you, my friend, -4 for a mighty 1 point.
You said
Brandon's on the board.
1 point.
Yeah, you know, I ended up with 3. I think I might have played my hand a little early.
Yeah.
But yeah, thanks for taking my
You
note.
kind of telegraphed it.
Yeah.
Amazing.
And that's the thing. If anyone actually succeeds at shooting the moon, you can blame yourselves because you didn't stop them.
Yeah. But you know, one could do it. We can take it.
Yeah.
Go Team Butterfly Talker.
Alright, I have 4 points in nobles, and 0 for these 2, 0 for these 2, 0 for these 2, plus 3, so that's 7.
7.
Okay.
7 points.
So in me, I've got 4 + 2 + 1. So I also have 7 because these are zeroed. And
Okay.
now it comes down to the 2 gaming experts here.
Jeez.
Oh, who's it gonna be? So what do you got?
All right, so I've got a 0 here because these are canceled out. I've got a 4 here. Got a 5 here, so I'm at 9, and then a 3 here, so I've got 12.
And I have a modest alliance. 5 and 5.
10.
All right.
Thank you.
There you
You
go.
really should have stolen the noble.
Team
Yeah.
wins.
Yeah.
Well, great
Cool.
job
Thank you.
of
Nice job, everyone.
really
Very good.
ruining my fun.
Yeah.
I'm so close to share. Like when you have 4 of them and you like taste that sweet, they change
So close.
only to watch it slip away.
Yes.
This is
That's
beautiful.
It is so satisfying to pass something and then have the other person not take it, though. that would have really helped them. I think you know what I'm saying.
Oh, that's so fun.
So what do you think? Like, so this is your first time you played?
Yeah, it's my first time
First
playing.
time?
It's your first time playing?
I got a little bit of a brush up
Okay.
before.
Yeah.
You were an early playtester of this, weren't you?
I played it quite a while ago. Yeah.
Yeah. It was like more than a year ago. Actually, did you play? You played.
I think it was 2 years ago. Yeah.
So it was when it was a different game at that point.
maybe, yeah.
Yeah, before the retheme.
Yeah.
You played before the
right.
retheme.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
Awesome.
And
You've
I've
been
played-
working on this for 3 years now?
This is 2.5 plus
Okay.
years, and
It's well play tested.
yeah, a lot. And there's a lot more. I've got a lot more ready to go.
Nice.
And I played all 11,000 permutations.
Right. Okay, well, we have a really quick, not rating exactly, but review template that we usually run through. The top category, I believe, is design. Is that true, Jordan? Can you scroll up? Yeah, it's design. Look and feel and visual accessibility. So, I mean, I opened this up to any of you guys, but like, these are not the actual cards that you get if you kickstart. Could you show those to us?
Yeah, so here we go. There's the box. So here's, I have it set up. So these are the 5 we just played with right here.
Very cool.
And then here are all the other possibilities you can play with. So like you take any of these 5.
Oh, this is the box art, right?
That's the box art, the mimic.
That's cool.
And so, actually I should probably do it this way so you can.
No, I think that our television viewing audience
They're like
could-
watching upside down.
Like
so.
upside down. Just turn your laptop over and
Yeah.
you'll be able to see.
So
yes.
I think this one
that's
has
so
got
cool.
unlocked. I think that is this the next one?
What's that? That's the last.
Sorry.
It's not even been announced.
It's not been announced. Okay, so
You've been behind
You
it.
heard it here first.
So
Get to Twitter.
other abilities, like there are different types of abilities as well. Like this one is a delayed effect, like allows you to actually peek at the top 2 cards instead of the first.
That's
Other ones let
amazing.
you exchange cards in the same family, copy abilities. There's also these, what I was saying before, like if you're familiar with Magic, like instants, defensive cards allow you to react to somebody doing something and change what they're doing. So like interrupts if you're way old school.
So
Yeah.
we'll be here for an hour if you try to go through all.
Okay, sorry. Okay. No,
That's so cool, though.
look at some pretty pictures.
Okay. Right.
If only there was a website where you could see more about
That's
fairies.
true.
You know.
Exclamation point
and there's-
KS brings you to the Kickstarter.
There you go.
Jordan. Very cool.
And,
All right.
Oh yeah.
So
You need like a gunshot, like sound effect every time. Jordan strikes.
So, from my perspective, the look and feel is absolutely amazing. I mean, this art is awesome.
You know, on one other note, I will. So we had fun. We had fun playtesting with colorblind playtesters,
Okay.
right? Because this is such an art-heavy game, and
Yeah.
you know the use of color, right, to separate it. You know, works. You know, depending on. So that's where the iconography and some other stuff, the big
okay.
wording. So,
So accessibility is
the good news
definitely
is,
top
you know,
line here.
hey Amy, thank you. Some of our colorblind playtesters had a blast. So.
Oh my gosh! Okay, so do we have the next category? Can you scroll down for us, please? Amazing. Look and feel very cool. Visually accessible. Yes. Our next category is game experience. We've got learning, complexity, and strategic depth. So learning is how easy is it to pick up and learn. Complexity is how complex are the mechanics of the board state. And strategic depth is like how deep is your decision tree. I mean, this is the very first time I have ever played it. I looked through your Kickstarter page and I saw this at KugelCon, but I didn't test it out there. I feel like I grasped it after like 1.5 turns.
Yeah.
How was your learning experience? I know you learned a couple weeks ago.
Yeah. Well, I played. I think you had showed me at KugelCon a while ago, and it does seem like a different game since then.
Yeah, you played with different fairies.
Oh yeah.
So when you played it, it would feel different.
Yeah.
So.
And
Very cool.
yeah, I thought it was pretty straightforward. And there was one card I played with in the previous playthrough that had negative points on there. I don't know. The Pariah. So I feel like that one adds some complexity. So it's kind of neat to have cards that are more straightforward and less. And I would say in this particular setup, these were like some of the more straightforward, and there's some even further depth.
Nice.
Yeah.
Super
And
cool.
when it comes to depth, my favorite part is when you're stacking the 3 cards, especially if you're playing, you know, next to the same person over and over again. You start getting into that head game space of which way did you do it? You
They
did this
keep
last
taking
time.
the first one.
Right.
Yeah.
You guys thought you could deny me the share fairies, but you did actually.
I liked it better when, so we did 3 this direction and then 2 this way. I liked when we switched because Joe kept getting me, baiting me for those low cards, and they were crap. And so being able to turn it back around, is like, oh, yeah, you want that top one? Are you sure about it? Oh, you want the second one?
Yeah,
Oh,
you did
yeah.
payback.
Yeah, payback was very fun. And they were telling me that there are more cards that are even more like backstabby.
Yes.
So you can play with like a gotcha sort of deck.
Yes, very much.
Yeah, and you know, you might want to point out, like, the good news is when you do the shuffle builder, go ahead and show that little icon there. You know, what Glenn did is he also, we have power types. So you can actually craft your gaming experience based on that iconography at the bottom. So
So basically there's 5 classes of abilities. So there's
there's direct action, there's environmental.
Direct actions. This is called a chain effect. The noble is an example of a scoring ability that does nothing except that scoring phase. Then there is the other ones are the delayed effects. Like this one, next round you get to look at something, you get to do something, and then the last one is the defensive or reactive effects. The one where you're like, okay, I can play this even though it's not in number sequence, just to affect something or make a bubble. You know, I'm gonna play it. It's there. You see my bubble. You know, purely defensive card.
You know, and just from a complexity standpoint, what is great about that shuffle builder mechanic, because I have run many demos with lots of different players and had the privilege of just keep changing up the fairies. And as I got better at understanding the game, I can actually kind of pull the audience a little bit and figure out, okay, these are min-max players that want a heavy tableau with very little interaction. These are a bunch of friends who want chaos and laughs, right? And you can use the cards, right? And Jordan agrees, right? And so I think from a complexity standpoint, as you learn the game, you can also really discover suits that you like and fairy families that match your play style.
The chaos.
So you can always like, oh hey, we played this game.
Good chat over so you can see it all.
Yes, and bring yes, and I know you all too well, especially the chaos players.
Yeah.
So
So you can like pull the table like, okay, if we played another round. The nice thing is the base rules don't change, only the abilities. So you can just like, okay, let's pull these 2 cards out and introduce these 2, and you'll have a very different feel of a game, but you can tune it how you like it. Or you can just take 5 randomly, doesn't matter. Any 5 random ones will work. And you can literally play a different game every time you play, or have your favorite decks.
Yeah. All right. So I feel like learning, I would give it like a 2. It was pretty easy to learn. There are, of course, more things with the more cards, but that's still like a base. I feel like it could sleeve these cards and teach it to my friends.
Yep.
So I like that sort of game. Complexity, I'm gonna go with like a 3. Maybe that's just the base game. Maybe we bump up to a 4 when we like add all these chaos cards. But I'm feeling like it's like middling complex because you only maybe 2 or 3 actually, because you only have like a simple sort of thing to do on your turn. Like the anatomy of a turn is very simple and consistent.
One choice at a time.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Strategic depth, though, I feel like that's at like a 4 or 5 based on how many categories and types of things and oh my gosh, different options there are. Super exciting.
And the last
Have
thing
you
I
ever
would
played with more than 5? Or
So,
does it?
well,
Do you
actually,
play different rules for different size groups?
Well, okay, this is the debate that we had for a long time. Okay,
the box says
3 to 5.
3 to 5 players.
3 to 5.
Thank you.
But
Okay, so this long debate between us is the first one was why not 2 players? Does it work at 2 players? And this was a fight, and I finally conceded, like, yes, you're right. At 2 players, without changing the rules, you can still play. But I have to admit, it is a very different feeling game. So if you ever think of like a Princess Bride, I know that you know that I know. It's that is the game. It becomes very thinky, and like what we played here was like, oh, that's fun, chaos. Like it immediately goes into like looking deep into each other's eyes. And like, what did you do?
So what you're saying is this is the pickup game at 2 players. You just get to look in each other's eyes. And say,
exactly.
I know what cards you're thinking of.
Exactly.
But never get into a landlord.
So basically,
Yeah.
I feel like Jordan and I could have a really good head-to-head on this.
Yeah.
The only rule I would modify with that is being very rigid about when you choose your cards. Like you both look at the top card at the same time and go 1, 2, 3,
because you know what they have, vice versa.
You know what you stack.
Okay, so if you see them choose number 2, then
you know what they're going to do. So you have to choose. So that's the only thing I changed in a 2-player game is you actually choose at the same time. But it then becomes very thinky. 6-player game. If you just played with 5 decks, you would run out of cards. So you can add a 6th family with 6 players.
Ooh,
and I recommend by default, if you're going to do 6 players, throw in the pariahs because they're just bad no matter what. And still, that way you're still trying to ideally get 5 families, and these are just poison.
That's good.
These are just poison.
We get a marker.
That's good.
We get a marker. Scratch out the 3 to 5 players.
2 to 6.
It's 2 to 6, but we're stuck with 3 to 5 because it's like, here's the rule set for this group. And again, I've got other variations of play, but you try to make the most consistent game.
Or you could buy 2 copies and play with
20-player
10 people. Yeah.
I've had other games like, oh, you want to play with 10 players?
Yeah.
Sure. You have 2 parallel 5 because you take any 5 here, and then you take some from each to have the playoff.
And just a quick plug. Glenn has done a great job of kind of blogging the journey of building this. So if you go to his BoardGameGeek.com Fickle page, among other things, he'll explain how you can do some of these, other variants. And the reason we call it variants is, new players, when they get the box, we want them to have kind of the core experience. Exactly. And from there, you can do a lot more. And yes, a 10-player tournament is totally doable.
Yeah.
We got the link. Thank you, Jordan.
Right.
Oh, yeah. Nice.
But you have to play it blindfolded. That's the only other reason.
Amazing.
All right, what's next?
And then our last category is Excitement. This is, how excited are you to replay this? And then we generally rank like this game versus the rest of the games we played this year. You guys don't have to do that. But yeah, feel free. Excitement and like what type of friend group you would play this game with. I'm super excited to play this again. I want to play this with people who are going to geek out about the art as much as I have been for like the past 2 weeks since KublaCon. I've been like, oh my gosh, there's an Amy Brown card game to anyone who would listen. And the people who hear that are like, what? Those are the people that I want to play with. So I'm excited for this. Like I said, I would sleeve them and bring them to a bar. Where do you see yourself playing this game? Would you pick it up and play it again?
Well, obviously,
Yeah.
I've been playing it for years and I still enjoy it.
There is a
Amazing.
Which is like,
Amazing.
I've literally played this hundreds and hundreds of times.
Yeah.
I still enjoy it. So
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah. I'll add to, so when we first played the early prototype versions that Glenn had, and we played it again and he changed it up, we're like, whoa, wait a minute. That was the same game, right?
Oh yeah.
And now I've probably led through convention play and all that good stuff. I've probably led 50 to 80 games. And I intentionally mix it up. And I still get surprised. There are still new combos that I just love. I'm telling you, like familiar transform, like mind blowing. Like, yeah. So just purely from an excitement for me, what I've really enjoyed is I'm still demoing that game and playing different sets, and just, it's kind of like a surprise every time. And it feels like a different game. That's the thing.
Yeah.
You know the core rules, but because the fairy powers can change up so much of the experience.
Yeah. For me, I think like what you said about bringing it to a bar, like this is one of those rare games that has a lot of depth, but seems like you could package it up, kind of like, grab the cards and stick a rubber band around them and put them in your bag. And I mean, I
Put them in a magic box. That's how all of our card games are. They just end up in magic boxes.
Like,
Right, great.
we don't have to be moving tokens around the entire time to play and have that depth. Like the complexity was not in the like manipulation of pieces on the board. It's in
It was in the strategic.
yeah.
Looking at each other.
And I really like that. And then I will also say just the theme. I don't understand why I can't think of another fairy game that I've played, even though it's such an obvious theme, but it just seems like,
Very few.
right.
It seems really. The first one that came to mind when I saw it, because of the theme and also because of the drafting element, is Fairy Tale. Have you played that game?
I've not played that.
It's a fantasy themed drafting set collection game, and the mechanic I thought was going to be pretty similar, but it's actually very different. And it's not all fairies. There's like different factions, sort of like this. There are there's a fairy group, and then there's other mythical whatevers. But this feels very different. I played that at a friend's house, but even if I owned that, I feel like I would play this game in different circumstances. So it feels different to me. But that's the closest thing I was thinking of. You keep pulling out...
Magic references?
No, not magic, not magic. Dominion.
Dominion,
exactly.
yes. Yeah.
And that makes a lot of sense to me too.
That was one of my inspirations, is Dominion. Like,
Nice.
as far as, because when I first pitched it to you,
I threw it in the air and said, "How dare you!" Second pitch was great.
No, in fact, like when I went around trying to sign originally, I just did like, here's 5 families, or here's it wasn't at that point, it wasn't fairies, but here's 5, and then only afterwards I say, by the way, there's a whole bunch of others. So it's like, wait,
Very
what?
nice.
What? So that was.
fun.
So,
can we
if you happen to win the Fickle tote bag, you can put 5 fairies and the direction tokens in the bag, and have a portable version to go to the bar with.
Pick
And for who's that Cat of Diamonds, I will make sure that Guilty Cosplay has a portable version to take to Dragon Con.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Yeah. So that is perfect. That's the other thing we were talking about. Like, it was great to have a portable version of this, because, like, as you see, like, it does compact down, but it's also very nice to have the tray, because there's going to be a tray to organize them as well, to put them away.
Okay.
But to go, take your favorite deck, take it to go anywhere.
And the only thing I would add is if you show the other side of the board, one of the reasons the board is really valuable is as people are learning the game, we have a
There's
learning
a tutorial side.
And the idea is it teaches you how to play the game, right?
But as you see, as you experience, you get about 2 rounds into your first game, and like,
And you
oh,
get it.
I get it.
Yeah.
But this helps. If people just want to know every single step of the game without you having to say it, he's like, it's right there on the board. Just do this, and then do this, and then do this. And we have I don't have the mouse token, but there's a little token that goes around, like follow through the steps.
It's a mouse for now. It might get upgraded to butterflies.
Butterflies are coming.
Yeah.
What's that with 700 backers? You get butterflies?
No, I think we're like a couple. No,
I
it's
think 700 backers. We get the
700 backers. So we're gonna unlock the sleeves.
Ah, sleeves.
Right, because of course with this many cards, right, you're gonna have to card sleeve them, and we don't want them all to say Magic the Gathering on the back.
Right.
So we're working on the card sleeves, and then the butterflies is an unlock. You gotta take 40,000, which we're well on our way to do.
Woo! All
Thank you.
right. And as a reminder, the special right now is $2,400, and everyone gets wooden pieces.
Yeah. So if we hit our stretch goal, our 24-hour stretch goal is if we get 24 backers or $2,400 in the 24 hours, the paper tokens will get upgraded to wood heat transfer image tokens, so that we can have kind of big, thick, still portable tokens that still feature the Amy Brown art on.
Amazing. So cool.
So.
Okay.
And one person can absolutely back for $2,400 to hit the stretch goal.
Yeah.
So thank you, Mr. Wozniak. We appreciate your support.
Oh, amazing. Cool. Anyone else have final thoughts on this? I think we're about ready to set up a raid. If you're not familiar with Twitch, that means we take our viewers and we go to someone else's channel.
I like
Dump them all in.
Wait, I like that. Like, I am so not cool enough to say, like, are we gonna take the ferry and just ram into some other
Christmas, you gotta tell them.
Yes.
hobbies for Christmas?
Oh, long before Christmas.
Right now our delivery goal is September, October, so we want to make sure that they're available for sale by Black Friday. Because, and the Pariah Ferry, of course, will be leading the Black Friday raid. See, I thought you meant like a ferry raid, so clearly I need to go on like Twitter school or whatever that is.
Different spelling for that raid. So I have to say, great for Brandon. He went to China and talked with the manufacturer, so basically working out the deal. So like as the Kickstarter ends, hit print. So we can get a quick delivery.
Now you keep releasing new ferries. It's getting hard for you to keep up. Right? The good news is they're ready for us.
Amazing.
So. Are we gonna get the Werefay in there?
The Werefay? I don't know. It's waiting. So
It's waiting. No.
yeah. No, I do want to say thank you to the super backers.
Yes.
We have some super backers, and they have been fantastic.
Yeah.
And where do you know? We're waiting for the Werefay release. Whatever that looks like. So.
Basically, it's like our number one super backer. Like.
Oh no! I mean, there's
a few,
but
they keep joking about it. Like that got me thinking. Like, I can make that work.
Stop giving the designer new stuff to try to shove in my box.
40 more. Come on.
So,
Amazing.
Are you ready?
Okay.
$39 on Kickstarter. $850 for shipping by the time Glenn's finished putting literally everything.
Yes. The other. Can we just put more in there?
Yes.
Amazing. All right, awesome. Well, I think we're about ready for the raid. Can we run through one more time and mention names and other places where people can find you and your stuff? I will start. Tim Level. I'm guilty. You can find me Wednesdays usually at 7 o'clock on Tilted Table, and Sundays and Tuesdays on my channel, Guilty Cosplay. And I'm so excited to play this game! To own it, and yes, all of the things.
Awesome. I'm Glenn Cotter, designer Fickle, and I can be found on Twitter at HeadCraftedPix with a PIX is the and please check out the BGG page for for Fickle. I've got the design stuff. Please engage with me there. I want to answer whatever questions you have. I'm more than willing to go deep if you want.
And a little side note,
Yeah.
we are also, Fickle is also the top 10 Board Game Geek hotness for the month of June.
Woo!
Congratulations.
Chaz from
Nice.
Paradise.
The only Kickstarter that made this month's list.
That's amazing.
They've
So-
kind of snuck in the back door.
Yeah. But thank you, Chaz's wife, because
Chaz-
you are the
Chaz-
smarter
Chaz's
member of
wife-
the family.
Chaz's wife is a big fan of Amy Brown, so
Right.
yeah, it was awesome.
Okay.
I'm Teresa. Thanks for watching this. And if you'd like to play any of our board games on your phone, grab Temple Gates Games apps on iOS or Android or Steam.
Pretty cool.
Brandon, formerly of Team Butterfly Talker, with Bard Games, and you can learn about not only Fickle, but we have 5 other game releases that are coming out in the next 12 months, and those are all available on bardgames.fun.
Very cool.
And, at Joe Salata on Twitter. Otherwise, second Tuesday of every month at our office here in Soma, you can come and join us at the event.
Woo!
Thank you for supporting
BackerKit.
game designers, for playtesting. This has been an amazing event every month.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I'd love to have you here every time, and super excited that we get to do it.
Yes, thank you, BackerKit. Thank you, because we have, like, there's 10 other prototype designs out there being play tested right now, so second we're off, I'm going to go play some games.
Yeah. And let us know on Twitter at Tilted Tabletop if you want to see us play more yet to be published games. After we went to Kickstarter and we were like, KublaCon, we were hanging out in the Protospiel room. I was like, Jordan, can we do an unpub night? And he was like, maybe. So yeah, yell at Jordan on Twitter and tell him that you want unpub, and we might be here back at BackerKit for that. So yeah, we're going to raid.
I know what that means. I know what that means.
Jordan, who are we rating? We're rating Final Ross Battle in 8 seconds.
Oh, wow.
6, 5.
Whoa, there's like a countdown and everything.